flyler.co.uk. Your fashion, your choice.
এই সময়
চকোবাইটস শেয়ার না করে খাওয়া যায় না।
ক্রাঞ্চি বিস্কিটে চকো চিপস ভরা চকো বাইটস, শেয়ার না করে খাওয়া অসম্ভব।
কালকে
ওকে, কাল দেখা হচ্ছে কিন্তু।
এই যে রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল।
ও, তবে রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল খাও।
এতে ফ্যাট কম আর স্বাস্থ্যের জন্য অধিক উপকারী।
ইউরোপের সেরা সানফ্লাওয়ার সিড বেছে নিয়ে 3 স্টেজ ইউরোপিয়ান প্রসেসিং টেকনোলজির মাধ্যমে গ্লোব এডিয়েবল অয়েল লিমিটেডের ফ্যাক্টরিতে সানফ্লাওয়ার সিড থেকে ইউরোপিয়ান স্ট্যান্ডার্ড অনুযায়ী তৈরি হয় রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল। সম্পূর্ণ উৎপাদন দেশি হচ্ছে বলে রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল পাওয়া যায় সুলভ মূল্যে। এর প্রাকৃতিক গুণাগুণ থাকে অক্ষুণ্ণ। রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল, স্মার্ট ফ্যামিলির হেলদি চয়েস।
রয়্যাল টাইগার নতুন স্মার্ট বোতলে সেই original taste আর unlimited energy. Royal Tiger.
Peace and blessing upon you all. This is your host for Channel 19 for our program Muslims in Ireland, live from Dublin, Ireland. I'd like to welcome you all. Hope you are safe and sound. I'd like to introduce our guest. Our first guest is spokeswoman for Irish Muslim Peace and Integration Council, Sister Karen Emaan Kirwan. And our second guest. And our second guest is a Khateeb for Irish Muslim Cultural Center, Clondalkin, Mr. Abdul Mannan.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. And our third guest today is spokesman for Irish Cultural Center of Ireland, Dr. Ali Salem.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. For the people who are watching us live outside from Ireland, I'd like to introduce a few things about Ireland. Ireland is a democratic republic country and is part of the European Union, and with a population close to 5 million and Dublin as city capital. And the Dublin city is a vibrant and cosmopolitan city with many nationalities living in Ireland, in Dublin as well. And Muslims are more than 58,000 living in Ireland, and majority of them are in Dublin. And my introduction to Ireland was a bit early, back in my second primary school year, by Irish author, Dr. Bernard Shaw, through his prose titled celebration of being alive, in which he narrates a very pleasant situation where a boy's carriage gathers courage, even though his leg is amputated and he's on his wheelchair, and he competes in a run. And yes, indeed, Irish people are courageous and they know how to have a bit of crack. Today's talk obviously is Muslims living in Ireland, and I'd like to pose first question to Dr. Ali Salim. What do you think? Can you give us a little bit of background when and how Muslims have moved to Ireland?
Well, the history of Muslim existence in Ireland dates back to the early 50s. Well, the Muslims came to Ireland initially as students to study medicine in the Royal College of Surgeons. They were mainly from South Africa and the Gulf states. Well, these Muslims, where they got their qualifications, a great number of them traveled back home. However, some of them decided to stay in Ireland. They stayed in Ireland and they got married to Irish women, and that was the first group of the Muslim community in Ireland. Well, these Muslims who stayed in Ireland and got married to Irish women here, the number increased as during the Celtic era, when Ireland was a promising place for job opportunities and investments. A lot of Muslim professionals as well as Muslim business people arrived in Ireland for business opportunity. The Muslim community increased at that time. Well, again, during the time of the Bosnian War and similar wars, Ireland proved as a place of peace for Muslims coming here as refugees. That was followed by a rapid increase in the Muslim population internally, as Muslims found themselves living in a non-Muslim country. They were few, and it was not that easy for them to invite their family members to Ireland. So Muslims increased within. We have seen a very rapid increase in the Muslim population in the late 90s. Like, until early 90s, we were talking about a couple of Muslim places of worship, but if you look at the late 90s, we're talking about almost 60 and more places of worship for Muslims in Ireland. In today's time, we have approximately 83 or 85 places of worship all over Ireland. Until the early 90s, we were talking about a couple of Muslims living in Ireland. In today's time, the number of Muslims living in Ireland scores up to a little bit over 100,000 Muslims living in this country. The Muslim community, they come from approximately more than 102 different backgrounds. They come from different culture, but the uniting factors among all these Muslims is their religious factor.
Thank you. Dr. Salim Ali, may I ask you, can you please give us a little bit of a background of yourself?
Well, I actually, in 1999, I was recruited as I am a graduate of Al-Azhar University, and I worked in a research academy. I was recruited by the Islamic Culture Center of Ireland to come and work in Ireland. So they had a contract with my organization in Egypt to work here for 4 years. And during these 4 years, I managed to get my master's degree from Trinity College. And then I decided to do my PhD. And I got my PhD from the same place, from Trinity College. After getting these degrees, I decided to stay in Ireland. And I think the place that I work in was satisfied with my work. So we decided to stay together. In the meantime, I have been a guest lecturer in Smurfit College for students doing master's degree in business. I also taught the Islamic course in Mater Dei Institute for 12 years, and I worked in TCD, Trinity College, as a lecturer for approximately 15 years.
Thank you very much. That was a very good brief information about the Muslims, how they migrated to Ireland and how they are at the moment and what facilities they have. May I ask Sister Karen Emaan Kirwan to give us a little bit of a background, how you embraced Islam and how was your journey, and some more details if you would like to.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everybody. My name, as you said, is Karen, Sister Karen, or Sister Emaan. I am a Muslim 5 years now. On the 1st of November 2015, I took my Shahada in the ICCI with, I think it was Sheikh, I can't remember the name of the Sheikh because I was like, it was so special. It was the first of, yeah, it was a day like this. It was so clear. It was amazing day. So what brought me to Islam was the sheer spirituality of it. You can sense it once you hear something that's that's real, that's the truth. You can't do anything but research it. So what happened was in 2012 we were over in Turkey on holiday, and it was the first time I heard the Adhan, and that was it. I spent then we went over in 2014. I spent about a year and a half after 2014 to really research it and be sure, and I was very happy to take my Shahada in the Irish Islamic Centre down in Clondalkin, and with great support from all the sisters there and the brothers there. And last year I was blessed on behalf of the ICCI. I was blessed to go to Hajj. Alhamdulillah, it was the best experience of my life. So very blessed to have been, to be around these beautiful people, like all over the world. Doesn't matter where you are. You're Muslim, and there'll always be somebody. There's always somebody who's Muslim, so it's great. I'm blessed to be around the best people in the world. Yeah.
Thank you. That was very heart-touching and a very inspirational story you have. May I ask Mr. Abdul Mannan to give us a little bit of background about yourself, please?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. All praise due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us tawfiq to join this good program, inshallah. Actually, my background is, my name is Abdul Mannan. I came from origin is Bangladesh, and I working in Malaysia, and then 20 years ago I came here like a work permit, that is the under of Khailmar Food Group. And then after working, then we can, alhamdulillah, we working now is my working in the Pfizer medicine company. This is the present job, and doing some masajid or lead the prayer, inshallah. That is my background. Voluntary job, that is, alhamdulillah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abdul Mannan, and everyone. Just to get into more details, we will just jump straight into the topics. First, I would like to talk about education. For each and every society and individual, education is really important, and Islam emphasizes on education, both academic and religious education. I would like to ask Dr. Ali Salim, what do you think and how Muslims are performing in the sphere of education, both academic and religious education?
Well, I have to admit that Ireland, in my understanding, is the best European country for Muslims. In Ireland here, we're the only country that has 2 state national schools. And these 2 state national schools, the students, they study the same curriculum taught in all other schools. In addition to that, they study Arabic and Islam. Moreover, we have so many Quranic schools spread all over the country. And in here at the Islamic Culture Center of Ireland, we have the biggest primary school, not only for Muslims, but all over Ireland. Our Quranic school is attended by approximately 900 students. These 900 students, they join our school at the age of 5. by the time they're 13 or 14, every year we celebrate the graduation of a number of them who have completed the learning of the entire Quran, word, by heart. I find this as a great achievement for the Islamic Culture Centre of Ireland, but not only for the Islamic Culture Centre of Ireland, also for the parents who feel that their religious identity is challenged as they live in a non-Muslim country. Well, the fact that they live in a non-Muslim country does not mean that we are referring to this as a negative point, but when you live in a non-Muslim country, you feel the religious layer of your identity is a little bit challenging simply because the norms in the country where you live are not consistent with your religious teaching. In fact, even if you live in a Muslim country, the religious layer of your identity will be challenged. So wherever you live, you will come across challenges, whether we're talking about faith challenges or cultural challenges or even educational challenges. And here, all the schools are open to Muslim children, so they join all schools. However, we have to admit that in the admission policy in Ireland, preference is given to Catholic school. And I actually had an experience in one of the schools here where I did enroll my child, and he was not accepted. But he was not accepted because preference was given to Catholic children. And because of that, I wrote my book, Islam and Education in Ireland, highlighting problems that people are facing in education here in Ireland, despite the fact that Ireland is the best European countries for Muslims to live in. But we have to admit that there is no utopia and there is always room for improvement. We do enjoy equality. We have our places of worship. We practice our religion. However, if we deny that we're facing challenges here, likewise we'll be facing challenges if we live in a Muslim country. It will be naive. There is no utopia, you see. And I believe that, yes, we do have a wonderful life in Ireland. In the time whenever there is a suggestion for amendment to the constitution, the Irish government, they let us have our submission, and we had the pleasure and the honor of submitting the Muslims' contribution to the amendment of the Irish constitution twice, which is something great, you see. The number of schools that we have all over, and we have so many schools, hence the problem is limited. However, it's not only Muslims who suffer that point. I mean, preference is given to Catholic children, but also Catholic children who are not baptized. You see, they are treated as not first priority. And if you're not Catholic, if you're Protestant, or if you're atheist or whatever, you'll be facing a similar situation. The Muslims could be privileged in this regard, and they have 2 Muslim national schools in Dublin.
So, Dr. Ali Salim, do you think that these 2 Muslim schools are sufficient for the Muslim population, or they are less? And if not, what is Muslim community doing about it?
Well, of course they are not sufficient because these 2 Muslim national schools, they cannot accommodate all children. In addition, Muslims all the time when they send the children, they think of proximity. We do have the Muslim National School here in Clondalkin, which is attended by approximately 300 children, and this is seen as a big national school. And we have the second Muslim National School, which is in Navan Road, a little bit smaller than this. They definitely cannot accommodate all Muslims. They definitely do not suit all Muslims to send their children to because of proximity. But again, there is another very important factor. You see, that I personally, my children initially started in the Muslim National School, and then I decided to take them out and send them to a Catholic school. And I sent them to a Catholic school because I realized that English education was not satisfactory for me. And I sent them to the Muslim National School because of Arabic and because of Islam. We're doing Arabic and Islam at home. They go to the Quranic school, so they are taking the Islamic and Arabic education. But I felt that English education was a little bit not satisfactory if compared to other schools. I felt that me, as not a native speaker of English, I felt that my English was even a little bit better than my children who could be classified as English native speakers. And because of that reason, I sent them to another school. So when looking at Muslim national schools, they definitely suit Muslims, but they do not suit all Muslims. They definitely accommodate Muslim children, but definitely they do not accommodate all Muslim children.
Thank you, Dr. Ali. May I ask Sister Karen, what do you think? Do you think that there are enough if we get more permission to run national Muslim school, do you think that do we have enough Muslim teachers to get those jobs?
Well, it's a good question. And basically, schools form a huge basis on the whole family life and the whole outlook, future outlook for the kids. The public school, as we see it, there's always fights for places, and I see that even down the least populated counties, like in towns like it's high and all that, with family down there. So there's always kind of like a bulge of students. So there's never enough schools in the public system, and there's always like too much population for too much demand for the supply of it. Do we have enough Muslim teachers to teach hijabi Muslim ladies, or even just ladies, Muslim ladies themselves, or men? No, we don't. We're not high profile at all in any denomination, whether it's like in public life, like civil servants, politics, like civil servants, I mean, even in the schools. And there is a problem. We need to get the message out there that the future's bright for Muslims in Ireland, and all of the parents might not necessarily get a place in the Muslim schools, but that's not all too bad. If you can get your Quran teaching and you can get your Arabic sorted in with every madrasa that you're going to, go to the schools that's there, providing a really good education. But we need to get more students applying for the primary school teaching and secondary school teaching. I haven't met one Irish national or even a Muslim teacher yet. There's a few. Obviously, there's a few down in Clondalkin, and there's a few up in Navan Road, and there's actually a few up in Dr. Tawfiq School, but that's a handful. I suppose down in Cork as well, and I don't think there's any more national schools, that have many Muslim teachers. So I think it should be raised as a good thing to get into for children.
Okay, thank you very much. Mr. Abdul Mannan, what is your vision for Muslim education in Ireland? Can you please...
Thank you very much, Brother Waheed. Actually, our brother Dr. Ali Salim and Miss Karen, they already mentioned about in this country's education, So I think this is my view. My view is actually that education, Ireland education, alhamdulillah, excellent. But for Muslim, because for Muslim education is, I think, is not enough for us, We already heard our brother Ali Salem and Khan, they spoke about that. We have so many madrasa. I mean, we need so many madrasa, but we have a few madrasa. At least how many? Two school one is the North Dublin National Muslim School. Another one is a Muslim National School, ICCI. And then so many weekend class also hosted by many cultural center, children can learn more about their religion. So for that reason, we need more madrasa, more school, and more qualified teacher also. We're suffering actually more qualified teacher. We need more qualified teacher. Then, inshallah, all education will be, inshallah, good, So this is my view.
Dr. Ali Salim, what do you think are the key motivating factors which can influence Muslims to go into teaching profession, especially for primary and secondary schools, which is highly needed.
External. And when I say external, I mean the Irish system here. You see, if you want to be a teacher in a private school, you have to be good at Irish language. You see, and that has been an obstacle in the way for Muslims for many, many years. You see, like all the Muslims who came to this country and chose to make Ireland their second home, they are teachers by profession, but in their home countries. And when they try to apply for a job here in Ireland, they face this obstacle. You have to speak Irish in order to be a teacher in a primary school, right? Well, we do understand that there is a room for flexibility, like if there is a special need or something like that, there is exemption from Irish, but this has never been applied to Muslims in Ireland. On the other side now, as we're talking about the second generation for Muslim kids in here, we definitely encourage our children to get educational qualifications. We have some of them who have already started their first step in this career. However, when you talk to these children, they will tell you they don't want to go to this degree because they are afraid that they might not be given the job, you see. And I think that's a problem that the state has to tackle. I think Muslims as minority in Ireland, they have been a rapidly and very rapidly increasing minority. They have been positively integrating into the society. They are deemed great assets to the society that they live in. And the state has been doing great efforts to maintain this integration. And I believe, well, this integration has been created and maintained not only by efforts exerted by state leaders, but also by community leaders. However, as I always say, there is always a room for improvement. I think the state should have what you can describe as quota for minorities. Like as Sister Karen mentioned, when you talk about civil servants, unfortunately, throughout all of Ireland, we have only two Muslim civil servants. Only two Muslim civil servants. In education, we have Muslim teachers, but only for Islam and Arabic. We don't have Muslim teachers in the mainstream. We don't have in primary school class teachers. And we don't have these class teachers because when Muslims came to this country, they definitely did not speak Irish, and hence they were not qualified to be primary school teachers. And the second generations who are graduating at the moment, the response you get from them if you talk to them about education, if I apply in a school, they won't give me the job. But then that could be true and could be false. But if we want to pave the way for something like this, I think the state has an important responsibility that they should fulfill, because education is not only an individual but also a societal need.
Thank you very much, Dr. Allison. That was very insightful. Indeed, education is not just only to seek, but also to deliver, and Islam obviously plays us, and we have to integrate and give back to the society. Sister Karen, may I ask, according to you, what are the major challenges a Muslim family may come across in terms of parenting?
There's many. Every parent. I'm a parent of two teenage daughters.
You may actually talk about two or three major.
Yeah. Okay. What I want to say, just to reply to Dr. Ali as well, and I will address that issue. If we make an exception for all of the children as we go to the Irish schools, if we and they're actually Irish, whether they're normally born here. So if we start making exceptions for not speaking Irish, for just because you're Muslim, your mom and dad are Muslim, but you're Irish, we need to kind of push through that information too. That, and I appreciate your point of view, Dr. Salim. But I tell you, in my experience, what I would like to see is that all of the children here own that they're Irishness, that they're Irish. They're Irish here. They're in their Irish schools. So just because they're moms and dads, they might need extra Irish help. But still, I don't think just because you're Irish doesn't mean to say, or you're Muslim doesn't mean to say, and you're Irish. So you should kind of know your Irish language as a basic. And if we start making exceptions to the rule, other people will be looking for exceptions in different denominations. So that's just one thing. Another thing, and that's a challenge for the parents here in Ireland, Muslim parents. There's a lot of challenges, like being here in the West, and trying to educate our kids what's haram and what's halal. But we can go to extremes with the sense that, oh, well, we can't listen to music, we can't look at films, you can't look at, like, let's say Netflix, everything. As soon as you put on the TV, everything's haram. What we need to do is get back down to the basics of saying to our beautiful children that Allah has given us that we are in a Western country. So the main religion is not Islam. And we need to make sure that we tell our kids not to harden up and, not integrate. We need to soften them up and educate them. And therefore, by us educating and spending time with our children nightly, like on a daily basis, it's cherished time. We need to educate them that what, let's say, people on the outside of Islam don't understand. It's just not in their thinking. It's not in their makeup. Like, let's say they don't understand that the ads are haram, or all sorts of stuff going on. The Irish people don't think that. Like, my mom and dad wouldn't think that. My brothers and sisters don't think that stuff is haram or halal. They just think everything is equal. And that's not correct. Not that they're being wrong, they just don't know. So our motivation should be, as parents, should be educating and bringing the actual Islam of all the Prophet Islam's Sahabas were reverts. And that's the impetus that I get, because I'm not starting from a blank slate here. None of us are. We have that to take into consideration, that Prophet Muhammad educated all of his Sahaba from what's right and what's wrong in a nice, gentle way. And I'm not saying that we can't discipline our children, we can't chide our children. I'm a very strict mom. My girls will tell you this. But at the same time, I don't tell them to do anything, ever. They know it's your fitra. They know what to do at the right time. You just trust them. They know what's right and what's wrong. We need to educate them in a nice way, like our beautiful Prophet ﷺ. And the challenges are right there. We're going to have them, whether you're Muslim or not. I see it left, right, and centre every day. All sorts of stuff. So it's not easy, but we take heart and strength from our Prophet ﷺ in bringing his way of teaching, not just his teachings, but his way of teaching, the speech, the time, the love, the real love, not just false. Don't be on a phone all night and whatever. You need to be talking to your daughters or your children, or that kind of thing. Integrate with your children and then bring it out, because it starts in the capsule of the home and then it spreads out. We've come from a very difficult situations, and we've done nothing special except just lived what the real message is, and you see it blossoming. So it's lovely.
Thank you very much, Sister Karen. That was really nice advice on parenting. We'll just go on a short commercial break and we'll be right back with the same topic, continue parenting. Thank you very much.
aliflila.co.uk. Your fashion, your choice.
চকোবাইটস শেয়ার না করে খাওয়া যায় না।
ক্রাঞ্চি বিস্কিটে চকো চিপস ভরা চকো বাইটস, শেয়ার না করে খাওয়া অসম্ভব।
কালকে
ওকে, কাল দেখা হচ্ছে কিন্তু।
এই যে রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল।
ও, তবে রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল খাও।
এতে ফ্যাট কম আর স্বাস্থ্যের জন্য অধিক উপকারী।
ইউরোপের সেরা সানফ্লাওয়ার সিড বেছে নিয়ে 3-স্টেজ ইউরোপিয়ান প্রসেসিং টেকনোলজির মাধ্যমে গ্লোব এডিয়েবল অয়েল লিমিটেডের ফ্যাক্টরিতে সানফ্লাওয়ার সিড থেকে ইউরোপিয়ান স্ট্যান্ডার্ড অনুযায়ী তৈরি হয় রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল। সম্পূর্ণ উৎপাদন দেশি হচ্ছে বলে রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল পাওয়া যায় সুলভ মূল্যে। এর প্রাকৃতিক গুণাগুণও থাকে অক্ষুণ্ণ। রয়্যাল শেফ সানফ্লাওয়ার অয়েল, স্মার্ট ফ্যামিলির হেলদি চয়েস।
Royal Tiger, নতুন স্মার্ট বোতলে সেই অরিজিনাল টেস্ট আর আনলিমিটেড এনার্জি। রয়্যাল টাইগার।
Welcome back to the program. We will continue with the topic parenting, and I would like to ask Mr. Abdul Mannan to give us some piece of advice, especially to the Muslim parents, what they can do at their best to upbringing the kids, especially teenagers.
Oh, thank you very much. Actually, that is a good question and very important question for us, whoever live in Ireland, in Europe, That is the big challenge for, I think, all parents. They are suffering, they are with their teenage, So first of all, I have seen is so many, because as a community volunteer worker, so many people are complaining about their children. That is shortcoming, We did not teach them properly by like a Islamic manner, Islamic education, Because already mentioned that one is the we have a shortage regarding, I think, our education center, school, primary school, very few, and national school, we have few, and junior school, we don't have at the moment, but Cork, they have a permission to open. So we face actually is a number one is because number one problem, we want to teach them Arabic and Islamic manner, and when they're going to the school, so they learn the different things. That's why this is the number one problem. But our thinking, we want to building our families, and then building the peoples. So we need for that balanced growth and development, and then parent and child relationship, and then positive discipline. We need that positive discipline also. And then we faith, culture, and spirituality, and then family and community perspective, So this is the, if we do that one, then we have to teach them more and more. Then together they can learn Islamic education, and they can learn general education also. Then they are becoming, inshallah, good Muslim and good person also, inshallah. So
thank you very much.
I have a more, experience. Our sister already mentioned that one. Our people, they don't know about the haram and halal, That is the very big question. That is the very big challenge. If you want to go shop, KFC or other shop, they love KFC, but we tell them this is halal or haram. So somebody, that one is the bother, or somebody they don't bother it. So that is our gap, is Quranic knowledge, Islamic knowledge. Then we are becoming a good Muslim, inshallah. So this is the great big challenge, inshallah. We can.
Okay, thank you very much.
That is the
Dr. Ali Salim,
challenge.
what do you think about this topic, parenting? Obviously, there is a big gap, because Muslims in Ireland are second generation, and first generation Muslims have learned the parenting style, obviously due to cultural influence and from their parents. How do you think that Muslims parents should adopt and encourage the kids in terms of actively participating in parenting?
Well, well, when it comes to participating in the society that we live in, let's say, what I always teach my children, I always teach them that they live in their country. Let's see, so they're Irish, they've been born in this country, they're not second-class citizen. There are no different types of citizenship, and it's always one type and one level of citizenship. So we need to instill in our children this belief: this is your country that you live in, right? The second point is that we need to create awareness about the society that we live in. Yes, we have to admit the fact that we live in an non-Muslim country, and hence the norms in this country are not Muslims. Our children need to understand that, and we have to support them throughout all the challenges they're facing. Like, for example, if they go to a school, in a primary school, for example, in here we start celebration and decoration of Christmas a month before the Christmas, and before Christmas you will see them celebrating the Halloween and decorating and talking about Halloween, all these things Muslims do not share. But we take this as an opportunity to educate our children about the Prophet Jesus. You see, we focus on the commonalities. See, in Ireland here, the concept of family is very, very strong, and it is entirely similar to the strong bond of family in Islam. But they have to understand that, look, you have an identity. Your identity is made of a number of layers. You share certain layers with others, and you have your unique layers of your identity. So, for example, when you go to a school, in education, that is one of the layers of your identity. And if they are talking or celebrating about Christmas or things like that, but then you can see the commonalities, and also it will be naive if you do not see that there are differences that you have to bear in mind. Well, Imam Ali, he said a fantastic sentence in this regard. He said, bring up your children in a way different to the way that you have been brought up, because they have been made for a different time. This is very deep insight expressed in few words. You see, the challenge that we are facing, as Brother Abdul Mannan mentioned, you see, in here we are facing stereotyping. You see, we are facing imported fatwas from outside. We are facing platforms given to unqualified members of our community here. You see, the people need to understand that if you want an answer to a question, then this answer is dependent on two sources of knowledge. The person answering your question should be fully aware of the context that you live in, and should be deeply rooted in Islamic studies. This is something that you can read in every Islamic book. However, we tend to forget that. Yes, platforms sometimes are given to unqualified Muslim individuals here, and they create a mess. And then our job becomes even more difficult. It's not only educating our children, but also is creating the mess caused by others. Our children here, when they go out, they definitely carry their Muslim identity on them. They are identifiable, and definitely the girls, you see. And I remember when that thing happened in Charlie Hebdo a couple of years ago, my eldest daughter, she was on the bus, and she had a terrible experience in the bus by one person, but she shared that story, and she said, like, I was on the bus, and then there was a lady, she said to me, I'm not ashamed of what you have over your head because of what you did in France. And before my daughter responded, all the bus engaged and stopped that woman from doing that. The bus driver did something very interesting and remarkable, worth mentioning here. He stopped at the next bus stop, and he asked that lady to leave the bus. But the lady left the bus, and then the journey continued with my daughter and everyone else on the bus. And what I focused, when my daughter shared that story with me, what I focused on was, look, see, the mainstream here, I don't like to use the word accepting, but I like to say that we all are together on one boat, you see. You can definitely share what is in common, and you have to preserve your Muslim identity, but a firm belief that you are living in your country. The more people feel at home, the good citizens they will be. It is a congregational responsibility. It's not only an individual. We live in a society. That society, the progress of this society is not only the concern of certain people and not others.
Okay.
We all are concerned about the progress because everybody will benefit from the progress in the society and everybody will suffer the negative aspect if there are negative aspects in the society.
Thank you. Sorry, Dr. Ali Salim, I may have to interrupt you here. Thank you for that beautiful insight. Obviously, integration, Muslims integration in Ireland, obviously is a challenge. What is your take, Sister Karen, on this? What do you think Muslims are successfully integrating into the society, both at individual level and also at a collective form in form organizations?
Well, as is my position now at the moment is working with the IMPIC, which is the Irish Muslim Peace and Integration Council. It's a platform where we try as a community to build bridges and communities. And like with that, we reach out to different branches of different areas in Ireland and all over the place, because we have also been represented over in the EU with Sheikh Dr. Ul Qadri. You know, I think it's in the Vienna place. It's in Brussels and Vienna with the human rights agencies in Vienna. The thing is with Muslim integration, we need to get the education out there with regards. We're all equal, as Dr. Salim has said, that we're all in the same boat. That to increase this bridging, to increase the integration in societies, like to blend in, not to blend in to lose your Islam or anything, just to be have your confidence in your own religion like everybody else, but also to stay together as a community. If you're a Muslim, Hindu, Irish Catholic, Protestant, because we have lived as Irish nation, we have lived with conflict for so many years of my childhood, with the northern problems, and there were huge problems between, you couldn't even tell them apart, Protestant and Catholic. Okay, so the whole thing is to keep your communications open. Don't be in a bubble. And I do see a lot of that, not in widespread community, and we're not high profile, maybe high profile for wrong reasons, because of of the media like to sensationalize stuff. I would recommend that we as us here, and people like all of us here, build on this platform of reaching out, connecting with every person, all people of society, all members of society, anyone who wants to speak and reach out. And we need to keep educating it, and educating the flow has to come from both ways. It's not just because we're blending in doesn't mean say you lose your Islam. We're actively doing that as parents here, divorced parents.
Thank
from
you, Sister Karen.
previous marriages.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you.
Yeah, no problem.
Because we are short of time. Apologies. May I ask Mr. Abdul Mannan, what do you think are the challenges for Muslims when they want to integrate into the society, both at individual level and also at organization level?
Thank you. Actually, is already mentioned in the Sister Karen. I want to mention one thing about the Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. When he immigrated Mecca to Medina, then he doing Alhamdulillah.
Looks like there's some internet issue here. While Mr. Abdul Mannan gets back
Are
live.
you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yeah,
you now.
now I think I have a little technical problem. So I mentioned the Prophet Muhammad Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam when he immigrated the Makkah to Medina, then he doing so many community job. You know, this is the good for us. That is the uswatul hasana for us. You know, that is the model for us. If we do here that job, then inshallah I think we are promoting the concept of social inclusion, you know, and active citizenship and equality. I think that is for we do alhamdulillah here. We have here so many voluntary community, voluntary charitable organization like Discovery Islam, Muslim Sisters of Era, and Welfare Society, and ICCI, and then Dublin Mosque, and then Limerick, Cork, and other city. Alhamdulillah, they're doing a good job for that. For that, you know. So inshallah, we also try to do more if um, everybody doing together. That is the effectively will be inshallah. Because united is very important things, you know. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned Quranul Karim, wa'atasimu bihablillahi jami'a. If we hold together Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, I mean the Quran and the Sunnah of Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, then I think our community will be more and more good and more united and more
Inshallah.
each other help, inshallah. That is good
Inshallah.
for our community, our society, inshallah.
Inshallah. May I ask Dr. Ali Salim, can you please tell us what ICCI is doing with regards to integration?
Well, I have to admit that when the ICC was initially founded, the whole idea was to create awareness about the Muslim community in Ireland, as well as awareness about the society that Muslims live in. In today's time, I don't think we are talking about integration anymore, but we have replaced this word with participation and partnership, because we are participating in our society. We are partners in the society that we live in. In here, we have a number of cultural activities, like we have our neighborhood week, and we invite certain experts of certain trades from Muslim countries, and we have our awareness week, and we invite people to come to that. Sometimes we have Arabic calligraphy, sometimes we have different, and that awareness week is usually attended by people, different schools, different universities, and neighbors living nearby here as well. We're doing this at the same time. We have our involvement in various activities. We are members in the Three-Phase Forum, and when the state launched the interfaith program, we were part of this program. And if there is a referendum about one thing or the other, we definitely here, if there is a common issue where the Muslims and the Catholic Church will have the same opinion about, we cooperate and work together in support of this.
Thank you, Dr. Ali Salim. Can you let the audience know, like, according to you, in your opinion, what is the best practice for any individual to have in order to participate or actively engage in the society, and maybe inform about his culture, his religion to his neighbors, to his colleagues at workplace? Because if we are stranger to our neighbors, then that society and community is weak.
Well, I think the answer to that is very simple. It's a sentence made of 3 words, maybe. Be a Muslim, and that's it. Because if you're a Muslim, you'll have to be good to your neighbors. If you're a Muslim and you see somebody in need of help, you have to help them. And if you see injustice as a Muslim, it is your responsibility to stop it. Well, be a Muslim, be a good Muslim. That's the answer to your question.
That's absolutely nice. Do you mean to say that, like, we have to be courageous and upfront and talk about your religion, your practice, your culture when somebody likes to know.
Well, I tell you, see, actions speak louder than words. You see, and let your actions talk about your faith. You see, like for example, like if I am traveling and I'm at Dublin airport, you see, and it's time for prayer, I will just go to the nearest corner and I'll offer my prayer. We offer our prayer congregationally over there. We don't talk to people, but people see us and they can understand that this is a prayer. So people know how important our prayer is. When the sisters are wearing the hijab, they're reflecting their sincere belief in Islam, and that is one of the best methods of introducing Islam to others. When my neighbor needs my help and I support my neighbors, when they see that we are good to each other, when they see that we're cooperating, we're not doing anything bad, when they see the spirit of forbearance and forgiveness that we spread. When it is our Eid, when it is our festival, we celebrate, we decorate our homes inside and outside and let people know that in Islam we have festivals and we celebrate these festivals. See, this is how to encounter the imported negative ideas about Islam. We tell people that we laugh as much as you laugh. We cry as you cry. We are human beings. You see, we have our love for this and we like this, we like that. But the only thing that we have to stress is that when we do one thing or refrain from another, we're doing this for no reason but seeking the pleasure of our Creator, simply because we see ourselves as traveler who started the journey when they were given born, and we know that end of this journey we're gonna meet our Allah.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ali Salim. It's really nice. The Muslims living in Ireland, especially in Dublin, there are many organizations which are actively participating and giving back to the society in the best manners without compromising on the religious belief, culture, and their own identity. It's really nice. I like to give just last 1 minute to Sister Karen to give any insights how an individual can do at his best level to integrate in the society.
Hey, to all the beautiful parents out there, particularly moms, they've a lot on their plate. I want to make sure you just reach out, just get your confidence, find it where you are, like meet yourself where you are and just show to your children that you can, reach for the highest and see what happens, because it can happen everybody and anyone. And don't let hijabs or no hijabs stop you. Just keep going, be a great Muslim, as Dr. Salim said, but also grow in your confidence, be sure and be resilient in your faith, and nothing will move you. And keep your spirituality up, keep your salawats up, keep your du'as up, keep your prayers up, keep your salahs up. And once you do this as moms, your children will surely follow.
Thank you very much, Sister, and that's really nice. That should help any individual to positively integrate and practice their religion. And thank you very much, panel members, to participate in this very insightful and informative session. I'd like to thank everyone who is watching us live and also maybe offline later on. Thank you very much. Seeing about to offline now. Thank you very much. Stay safe. God bless.
Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.